I still remember the smell of the old garage where it all began. Rusted tools, cracked walls, and a single broken desk lamp that flickered whenever the power surged. That tiny space was my first office. Nobody believed in me back then, not my parents, not my friends, not even myself at times. But I had an idea, and I had a fire inside me that refused to die. 10 years ago, I started with nothing but a vision and a laptop that overheated every few hours. The company wasn't built in boardrooms or through inheritances. It was carved out of long nights, sleepless coding marathons, and endless rejections from investors who laughed at me for being too small. I worked day jobs and night shifts just to keep the lights on. While my friends traveled, dated, and lived carefree lives, I lived on instant noodles, second-hand clothes, and dreams. My parents weren't cruel, but they were never supportive either. To them, my younger sister, Emily, was the golden child. She was bright, charming, and always had the perfect grades. They pampered her, paid for her luxuries, and reminded me often, "Why can't you be more like Emily?" But Emily never built anything. She lived a life wrapped in silk, while I bled for every brick of my empire. After years of sweat and failures, the breakthrough came. My product, a software platform that streamlined small business operations, caught the market's attention. Suddenly, investors who once dismissed me lined up with checks. Clients poured in. Revenue skyrocketed. I had finally made it. The company grew from a desk in a garage to a skyscraper office downtown, from one exhausted dreamer to a team of 500 employees. My parents, who once dismissed my work as a waste of time, now proudly told everyone at dinner parties, "Our son built this." But pride has a strange way of twisting. What began as admiration soon revealed an ugly face. It was a Saturday evening when my parents invited me and Emily to dinner. We sat around the long oak dining table, the one reserved for special occasions. My mother poured wine. My father cleared his throat. "Son," he began, "we've been thinking about the future of the company." I smiled. "Good, I have plans for expansion." He raised his hand. "No, not like that. The company is family property, and family property must remain balanced." I frowned. "Balanced," my mother spoke softly. "We've decided that the company will be transferred under Emily's name. She'll be the majority shareholder." The room fell silent. My heart thudded so hard I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. I blinked, thinking I had misheard. "You what?" I whispered. Emily leaned back in her chair, a smug smile tugging at her lips. She had known. She had always known. Father adjusted his glasses. "You built it, yes, but family share. Emily is your sister. She deserves her share too. This way everything remains fair." "Fair," I snapped. "I gave 10 years of my life to build this company from nothing." Emily never lifted a finger. Mother's voice hardened. "Don't be selfish. You're her brother. Family comes first." I looked at Emily, who twirled her wine glass lazily, smirking. "Don't look so shocked," she said. "You always knew I'd end up running things." It felt like a dagger in my chest. Betrayal from strangers I could have endured, but betrayal from my own parents, from the very people who watched me starve, who saw me claw my way through darkness only to strip me of the light I had created. That night, I walked out of their house without another word. I drove until the city lights disappeared, until the tears blurred the road, until my anger hardened into something sharper. I realized then I would not let them take what I built. For weeks, I played the role of the defeated son. I showed up at family dinners, smiled when Emily bragged about her company, and nodded when my parents talked about future succession. But behind the mask, I was planning. One evening, while sorting through old files in my office, I found a sealed envelope from my late grandfather. He had been a man of vision, a man who once told me, "If you build something with your own hands, never let anyone take it from you. Protect it." Inside the envelope was the real will. It stated clearly that the company, registered under my name and funded initially by a small loan from him, was to remain solely mine. No one, not my parents, not Emily, had any legal right to it. I sat there, trembling as the weight of his words sank in. The betrayal hurt, but this was justice waiting to be delivered. Quietly, I reached out to my grandfather's old lawyer, a man I trusted more than anyone in my family. I handed him the will. He studied it, nodded, and said, "They have no idea what's coming." Every day after, I played my part well. I even congratulated Emily when she flaunted her ownership on social media. The world thought she was taking over. My parents walked around with pride. Inside, I burned with a mix of sorrow and anticipation. The day of the official company transfer came. The conference room was filled with board members, lawyers, and my family. Cameras flashed, reporters waited outside. My parents sat at the head of the table, Emily beside them in a designer suit, smiling like a queen about to be crowned. The lawyer they had hired began reading the documents, and therefore, by the authority vested, the majority ownership of the company shall transfer to— Wait, I interrupted, rising to my feet. Every eye turned to me. There's been a mistake, I said calmly. Before you proceed, I believe another document should be read. I gestured to the man standing quietly at the back, my grandfather's lawyer. He stepped forward, carrying the sealed envelope. This, he announced, is the last will and testament of Mr. Robert Hayes, the founding benefactor of this company. The room buzzed with confusion. My parents' faces paled. Emily frowned. He opened the document and read aloud, "I, Robert Hayes, hereby declare that the company known as Hayes Solutions shall belong exclusively to my grandson, who built it from the ground up with my initial support. No other family member shall have claim over it. This is my will, witnessed and notarized." Silence fell. The board members whispered among themselves. Reporters pushed against the glass wall, snapping pictures of my parents' shocked faces. Emily's smirk vanished. This must be fake," she stammered. The lawyer shook his head. "It's legally binding. Any attempt to transfer ownership without honoring this will is null and void." My father's lips trembled. My mother clutched her chest. Emily's face crumbled into fury and humiliation. I stood tall, calm but burning inside. "You tried to steal my life's work," I said, my voice steady. "You called me selfish, but what's selfish is betraying your own blood. I built this company, I bled for it, and it will remain mine." The lawyer stamped the will. The deal was over. The reporters captured everything: the betrayal, the exposure, the downfall of the family's scheme. That night, as I stood in my office overlooking the city, I felt both victorious and broken. I had won the company, but I had lost my family. And yet, as my grandfather once said, truth never betrays. Blood had failed me, but justice had not.